if you read enough, obviously you're going to come across Kava, because Kava is considered really the all-star in the plant kingdom of a compound that binds to these GABA receptors, which are the receptors that benzodiazepines and anxiolytic drugs and even barbiturates and alcohol and all those bind to. And GABA is the main pathway in the body that is like the brakes of the nervous system, right? It's the main sleeping, relaxing chemical. It's the most inhibitory neurotransmitter in the system, as where the glutamate, which is the most excitatory, which is what drives seizures, is its equal opposite, the most excitatory. Very crucial neurotransmitter, but very carefully regulated, because it gets out of balance, it becomes toxic, burns out the system, causes seizures, etc. So I was trying to find this plant-based analog here. And so I had gone over Kava a few times and tried capsules that I had just gotten from the health food store, like, a couple of years prior to this. And I was like, I've already looked into Kava. It's not much. It's no different than like a cup of chamomile tea I'd get from Whole Foods or something. It's not a big deal, right? I need something stronger. Like, a lot of these different herbs like valerian root and chamomile and lemon balm and passion flower and all of the herbs that are in this wheelhouse, even just straight CBD, they all have effects, and I don't dislike any of them. But for my situation, it was kind of like trying to take down an elephant with a BB gun. It was not happening. Like, it was not enough. I was trying to get off this powerful drug. But anyways, I came across, someone who was a friend of mine who was from the South Pacific Islands, and he told me to get in contact with a couple of the farmers and a couple of guys in the Kava industry. And he said, because he's like, well, you need to try Kava. I said, well, I already tried Kava. And he said, well, what did you try? What form did you try? I was like, well, I got these capsules from this company, blah, blah. He's like, he laughed. He said, you haven't tried Kava. That's not Kava. Those are Kava-like products, right? If Kava gets, the effects get destroyed really easily if you extract it with solvents and different things. And so you have to have the traditional preparation, the drink that they drink in the islands. I was like, okay, that actually makes sense, because everything I've read about Kava from an anthropological account standpoint, this is like a sacred substance to them. And they're reporting all these effects that I was not getting with those capsules, right? Deep, psychological, almost like, subtle entheogenic effects, profoundly calming effects. It's so sacred to them, social lubrication, social enhancement. I wasn't getting any of that with those capsules. So anyways, I did get in contact with this farmer and with, several people in the industry, and started to sort of work that circuit. Got in contact with a lot of these people in Vanuatu and in Fiji, which are the two island chains that Kava really originated in, initially about 3,000 years ago. And these indigenous people have been using it for that long, and they've been using it daily in a specific form with a specific preparation that is this drink. It's this drink that looks like muddy water that they consume in ceremonies, and they consume in weddings and funerals and social gatherings and the whole thing. So I started having some of the dry roots sent to me, and then they sent me instructions on how to prepare it. And it involved basically putting a bunch of this ground dried root that was like vacuum sealed, so it wasn't exposed to oxygen. And I opened it up, and then I put it in the strainer bag and squeezed it out into a bowl of cold water like they told me, and wrung it out under specific pressure, a certain temperature, for like 30, 45 minutes. Oh, it took a lot of time, and it got my bag all nasty, got my kitchen all nasty, and it tasted like muddy water, but I was blown away by the effects. After taking it for a couple days, I was like, this is really interesting. It has a cumulative effect, and so you always give it about a month to build up in your system. So after a month, I was like, this stuff is amazing, right? This is like really, really helping. Like, I feel like a 10,000 pound weight is lifted off my shoulders, and I'm having far less reactions. The ones I am having are lasting half as long. And then after 2 months, I had reduced my reactions by about 85%, my seizures by about 85%. And the ones I still having were almost like non-existent. And I was able to get completely off of these benzodiazepine drugs that I was heavily addicted to within 2.5 months. And that was like a miracle. It's like the biggest miracle I'd ever seen. When you're in that state that I was in, and I was near death, and it was like, so Kava like literally saved my life.